Tuesday. It is Tuesday, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day, a day for lovers. And today's show is all about the love. It is the 45th day of the year. There are 20 days, left in 2023. And welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Thom. Check this out. According to Hallmark, 145 million greeting cards are exchanged every year for Valentine's Day. 145 million, and that's just in the United States alone. 8 billion conversation hearts are manufactured each year. 250 million roses are grown just for Valentine's Day. And that heart-shaped box, that red box of chocolates, is still one of the most popular Valentine's gifts, and nearly 48% of consumers say chocolate is one of the top gifts they present to their sweetheart. Flowers are also still one of the most romantic Valentine's Day gifts, according to 34% of consumers. Now, our G-List guests today are here to talk about their Valentines. Our guests are Pam and Robert Baugh, and Barbara and Thom Larkin. It's Valentine's Day, and we look forward to that conversation. This edition of Tuesdays with Thom, of course, is sponsored by our partners, the Best Girl consulting firm. Best Girl has been providing customized solutions to executive issues for 34 years. Let's hear from Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Best Girl creates the solution that fits your needs. So let's go to our roundtable regulars and introduce Barbara Wallace Edwards and Michael Walker. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Morning, Thom and Michael.
Gee,
Happy
good
Valentine's
morning,
Day to
everyone.
you all.
Well, thank you. Happy Valentine's Day to you both. Yeah.
Thank you.
So tell me about your Valentines. Did you ever give out one of those little heart-shaped boxes of candies when you were little? Did you have somebody you were sweet on and teachers would let you call time out and everybody could exchange candies?
Well, Thom, that was always one of the favorite things for me to do. Is my mom would let us go the weekend before Valentine's normally, or at least the night before, and buy the box of cards that had the little candy stuck to them, and I could pass them out to all of my classmates in elementary school. That was always so much fun, and I always look forward to receiving those as well. So I didn't have a special Valentine. It was just everyone in my class.
Oh, okay. Michael, what about you?
Yes, I remember what Barbara's talking about, in elementary school and junior high school. You came to school with all these cards for everybody in your class and stuff, and you give out these little cards. And then I remember those little bitty heart-shaped candies like mints that was shaped in hearts and had little writings on them. And you could give those out in packages to people and stuff like that. So, yeah, I remember that. It was always fun to kind of get these different cards with different drawings on it and be my Valentine and what have you. Yes, absolutely.
There was always one that was a little more special than the others. So you always wanted to make sure that you gave that one to somebody who was maybe a little more special than the others to you.
I used to love getting those little conversation hearts and finding special messages on them. And my brother and I used to try to make sentences out of them. We try to put them together and collect them. So it was always a lot of fun.
Did you have a first crush in elementary school?
Gosh, I'm trying to think back that far. This was a long time.
I'll tell you one. My nephew came home from school in the first grade. He had given a Valentine's to his teacher. He said he liked the teacher. It's like, no, we don't do it like that now.
Well, I
Uh,
have to I have to tell you this. My daughter, Michaela, whom you all met, she expects to get roses and chocolate covered strawberries from me every Valentine's Day.
Mm,
And,
uh,
I would always, well, when they were little, she and Michael, I always give them Valentine's Day gifts. And then after they got a little bit older, I kind of continued with Michaela, and I remember
right.
after she went off to college and, was at Georgetown and then, I guess her first job, I just kind of shied away from that because she was dating guys and stuff like that. So one year I didn't send her any flowers or the chocolate covered strawberries. And she gave me a call and said, Daddy, where are my flowers and my strawberries? I didn't get anything from you. And I said, Oh,
You had to
well,
go out and get some
I kind of felt like you had outgrown that. And come to find out she has not. So she expects that from me every year.
every year, of course. Tom, I remember when
yeah.
I was in the 8th grade, and I think that was the first time a guy had a crush on me that I knew of anyway, and he brought me a box of some perfume, roses, and candy, and all this stuff to school. I was scared to take it home because my dad was so strict. I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. I was too young, so I was like trying to figure out what could I do with this stuff before I got home. Didn't want the guy to know that I was giving it away, but I was passing out roses to my classmate on the way out the door,
I hear you.
hiding the perfume and giving the candy to my brothers once we got in the car. So I didn't want to take that home and let my dad see it.
Uh, uh, uh. Okay, well, sounds good. Well, let's move on to our well, before we go to our G list, if you guys got anything? You got any other comments, questions?
Well, I just have some comments. I want to say Happy Valentine's Day to all of our viewers as well. If we got a couple of them commenting in our comment section, Antley Lamont Stanton and uh, Patricia Gentry Eddington, Retta Freeman, Booker, Vernell Razor. So good morning and happy Valentine's Day to all of you all as well.
Well, our friend Antley says he spent all those dollars on Valentine's Day and was still told no. That's okay now because in 75 days I'll be marrying my final Valentine's.
Absolutely.
Good for
Congratulations,
you,
Anthony.
buddy.
Yes. And Tom,
Well,
I also want to congratulate TJ Finley, the former quarterback at Auburn. He got engaged over the weekend. So
Did he?
congratulations to him and his fiance. Yes.
All right. Well, maybe she can help him complete a pass.
ouch, ouch.
He's had a little trouble with that the last 2 years. So,
Whoa.
okay, Michael, you got anything else for us?
Yes, I have a comment. A freshman Republican, U.S. Representative John James, is giving a little love to the seniors. He is putting forth his first bill that will basically take Medicare and social services, Social Security out of the discussion for the debt ceiling. So, in other words, when the U.S. Congress start to talk about the debt ceiling and we don't have any money, they do not want this to be a part of that issue and that discussion anymore, so those benefits can continue. So he's sharing some love with the seniors. And of note, not only is he a freshman from Michigan, a freshman Republican from Michigan, he happens to be an African American. So he's trying to do good things in Congress.
That's good.
Or bullshitters. I mean, that kind of sounds like bullshit to me. But we'll go to the next thing. I mean, how can you have an issue with the debt ceiling when you got to do it every year and you know it's coming up? Come on, man. That's just what they do.
Yeah.
I ain't into Congress. So let's go to Sean. Sean's got a minute for us. Sean, what do you got for us?
Good morning. My name is Shantia Jones, and this is Got a Minute. Happy birthday, Barbara, and happy Valentine's Day to you all. I hope to see flowers in everyone's hands and the shelves wiped clean of their cards, candies, and teddy bears. Speaking of candy, does anyone remember candy hearts? Well, I bet you didn't know that they were originally medical lozenges. Boston pharmacist Oliver Chase identified an opportunity to revolutionize the candy business by turning his lozenge machine into a candy machine, which is how Necco wafers was born. Attention, attention, attention. V-Day consumers told the National Retail Federation they wanted an experience gift. Tickets to a concert, an outdoor activity, or an evening out. This gift option is particularly popular with millennials aged 18 to 34. Now, before I go, I'm sure you all know that other countries celebrate Valentine's Day. South Korea, Brazil, Canada, Ghana. In Ghana, February 14th has been known as National Chocolate Day, which promotes the consumption of chocolate. So, happy National Chocolate Day, Ghana. I love sweets and I love love, and I'm excited to see it all over everyone's faces. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
All right, thank you, Sean. I ain't gonna say that. Okay, we're moving on. Good job. So our G-list guests for today, we have multiple guests for today, and they are Thom and Barbara Larkin and Robert and Pam Baugh. They are here to talk about their Valentines. Barbara and Thom Larkin, they first met in an elevator in Birmingham. Then 30 years later, they met again at the Birmingham airport, and they've been married now for 5 years. They were both born in Alabama, Thom in Sumter County, Barbara in Bessemer. They are fourth and fifth generation Alabamians. Thom practiced law, he still does. Barbara is volunteering with the Family Foundation. But the greatest surprise of their lives came when Thom located his mother's college degree, placed it on the bookshelf in their home. Barbara decided she'd do the same thing, and then they uncovered a secret that really surprised them. Placing the degrees side by side on the bookshelf, they discovered that their mothers graduated from the Alabama State College for Negroes, which was in Montgomery, Alabama, currently Alabama State University. They graduated on the same day, in the same month, in the same year, with the same Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. They have concluded that both mothers knew each other because classes were so small in August 13th, 1954. Both mothers had passed when they uncovered this surprising event. They hold both degrees close to their hearts. Robert and Pam Baugh have been married since 1985. How long is that? It's a long time. Yeah, anyway. And they have 2 adult children. They live in Birmingham. Robert practices law. Pam has retired, and she taught science for 26 years in high school and elementary school. They enjoyed raising their family in Birmingham. They are involved in a number of activities in Birmingham. They also enjoyed traveling. Their most recent adventure was a trip to Antarctica, where they learned about the habitat and how the warming planet impacts the environment in America. So our loving couples today are Pam and Robert Baugh, Thom and Barbara Larkin. Let's get them on here. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
So give us a little backstory on your marriages there, on your love life there. Let's start with Pam. How about that?
That is so hilarious.
Just jump right on in there, Thom.
Throw me in there.
All right.
Well, I think love has come to mean a lot of different things over these past 37 or 38 years. And And I'm glad to have been Robert. When Robert asked me to marry him, he said, I promise you it's going to be an adventure. And I throw that back at him all the time.
So he did ask you. You didn't ask him, huh?
No,
I figured
I
you just
didn't.
told.
No, it was a great thing. We had lunch that day, and I was so scared that I didn't ask her at the lunch. We had this nice lunch, and as we're walking out in the parking lot, then I stopped and asked her. I finally got my nerve up.
Did you get on one knee?
No,
don't think I
he
did.
leaned on the hood.
Okay. Barbara and Thom.
Oh, I get
Sure.
to tell this story. I can't trust him. Well, he took me to dinner at a very lovely restaurant. And he, after dinner, everybody knew about this because we were in the back in the corner and he had reserved this booth for us. And so after dinner, he slides this box. You know, it was a pretty big size. It was about that big. Slides this box across the table. I'm like, what is this? So he just come from New York. So I said, oh, he probably got me a nice bracelet, right? So I opened it up. And well, I took off the cover and I opened it up. And this light comes on inside the box. And there's this ring. And I'm looking at this ring and I'm saying, oh. And I'm looking at him. And he's just smiling. So I said, now, is there a question that comes with this ring? So finally he asked me to marry him. But that was, I mean, it was like that he had forgotten, like Bob, he forgot. And I had to kind of prod him along. So it was yeah. We've been happy.
We lawyers aren't known for our sensitive hearts. So
Absolutely. We're known for getting it done.
Robert never says more than he's exactly supposed to.
There you go. There you go. That way you stay out of trouble.
We have a saying here that it's not necessary. You know, so if it's not necessary, you might not get said or done.
I hear you. I understand.
So, Thom, what you're saying, in other words, is that Barbara should have just said "I do" when she opened the box, right?
No.
That's where I see it.
I would have heard it for the rest of my life. I knew that. Okay.
No, I should have stepped forward, and but I was so amazed by the look on her eye, the astonishment. Okay?
Yeah, I never opened a box where the light shines down. You know, it was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, one of those. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Barbara Wallace Edwards.
Yes.
So you got questions for the
I
couple?
do. I want to know from the Lovebirds, how long did you all date before Thom or Robert popped the question? We'll start with you, Robert. How long did you all date, and when did you have in mind that she was the right one? When did you make that decision? So tell us about that.
Well, it's funny because
Here we go.
no, we went out on a blind date, and it was okay, but it just didn't jive with either of us, and so we didn't go out really for a whole year, but we kept bumping into each other through a lot of mutual friends. And Pam is an outstanding Trivial Pursuit player, and so we would be with friends, and that was back when Trivial Pursuit was a big deal, and we would play those games. And finally we went to a wedding, and we were at a reception, a friend of ours here in Birmingham, and when they got married, and we just hit it off, and we just really started seeing each other very, very quickly. We were only engaged for a few months.
We dated for 8 months and we were engaged for 2 months.
And so within a year or so, going to that wedding together, we were married. So it moved fast after that.
Isn't it interesting how the women know the exact details of the engagement, how long you were dating, everything. I always get it wrong. When I try to tell the story, she said, "No, that's not the way it happened." So I don't even tell it anymore. You know?
I don't know why I opened my mouth.
I don't either.
Well,
Yeah, I should have asked the ladies.
Well, he tells that part well.
What part is that?
the part about when we met in the airport and how long it took. Yeah.
Yes, Thom, tell us about that.
Our last meeting in the airport. Yeah. Well, I was on my way to Philadelphia, to Pittsburgh, and Barbara's on her way to New York. And I was with a good friend of mine, and we were going up together for work. And I was sitting almost my back to her, and I looked around, and I said, BJ. And she said, Tony. And that's it. And I went over and I started talking with her, and I said, well, can I have your number? I can give you a call while you're in New York. She said, certainly. So she gave me a number. And so I couldn't wait to that evening till things kind of settled down in Pittsburgh, so I could get her on the phone, and we had a nice conversation, and that just progressed on from there.
So how long did we date?
But I understand you guys met in the elevator. What was that like?
Okay, that was actually about 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this was in the Citizens Federal Bank building, and according to, if you listen to Barbara tell the story, I just popped on there. Okay,
You did. Jumped into the elevator
and that was this very stunning lady there, in the elevator, and I wouldn't know. I said, I'm Tony Larkin. Who are you? And so that's how we met. And she was going up to the third floor to see Dr. Gaston, and my office was in that building. And so we started talking. And I learned that she had finished law school, and she was studying for the bar, and it progressed from there.
Okay, that was just
That's
right
that's how we met.
That was right up your alley, huh, Thom? It's like she was going to law school, and so.
No, she finished law school. She was
okay.
Getting ready for the bar.
Okay, all right. Okay, Michael, you got questions?
Yes, I do. I wanted to ask Robert and Pam about this trip to Antarctica, and what were you guys doing there? And why would you choose to go to Antarctica? What was it about? Was that more to stay warm like Eskimos, or what?
I'll let Pam take this one, but I will say that when we arrived back in Birmingham, it was colder in Birmingham than it was in Antarctica. But it's summertime down there. But I'll let Pam kind of explain how that came together.
Well, I'm on the board of the Cahaba River Society, and another fellow board member is Dr. Jim McClintock from UAB. He's one of the foremost authorities on Antarctica in the world and has traveled down there about 30 times. And every year when it's time for nominating, he can't participate because he'll be on a trip in Antarctica. So I suggested to Robert that we wanted to go with him. And we signed up a year ago, and that's what we did. We went down. It's very safe. It's not hard. And people ask me if I was ever cold down there. And the thing is, they make you rent the coat, the gloves, the pants, the boots. So it's not like running to the grocery store where you're freezing and you're only in your sweatshirt. You were really prepared every time you go out into the weather. So it was fun and fun. Beautiful.
How long were you guys there?
The total trip was a couple of weeks. We were probably down there 7 or 8 days. But it really is fascinating. I mean, because it was not on my bucket list at all, but I'm really glad we went. And there were 30 people from Birmingham that went because of Jim McClintock. I mean, he was kind of the hub there for all the folks. And so it was fun. And then y'all are sports fans. So the little added benefit was the World Cup was going on. And so we flew into Buenos Aires, and so Argentina is playing. And so, man, you talk about excitement out there in the streets watching them in the quarterfinal or semifinals. So then the finals are against France, and we're on a French ship. So we got half French crew and a half Argentine crew. And when they're watching the World Cup finals, it makes the Auburn-Alabama game look like peanuts compared to that. So it was fun seeing the excitement of all that.
When Birmingham hosted the soccer games for the Atlanta Olympics, I was involved in that. And so we went down to Miami to see Argentina play. I don't know. I can't remember. Germany, I think it was. Man, I'd never seen anything like that. They stand up the whole time. They sing songs the whole time, and it's just incredible, you know. And it's like, man, and they started talking about somebody, one of them's mother, and they just started talking about that, and it was great. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Now I imagine you've been in a few huddles where they were talking about each other's mother too.
I've been in a few huddles where we were talking about the cheerleaders. Now, guys, which one you talking about? That one right there, right there. You know? Oh, okay. Go ahead and call the play, man. We'll catch you on the next play. Okay, Barbara, you got another question?
I do, and Barbara and Thom, I know that one of your hobbies is collecting art and historical books. And talk about your collection and what all you've collected, and where you're visiting museums. What are some of the museums you've visited? Just talk a little bit about your hobbies.
Well, the top of my hobby is really collecting coins.
Oh, okay.
I have a collection of Booker T. Washington, George Washington, Carver, $50.
Wow.
You'd be amazed at the number of people who've not seen one of those.
Never have.
Yeah. In fact,
probably all of us.
I'm sorry?
I said probably everybody on this call hadn't seen any.
Well, it's amazing. I remember showing one to Mayor Arrington. This was probably 8 or 9 years ago, and he had never seen one. So I gave him one, and in fact I given him two, because the first one was George Washington. The first one was Booker T. Washington, and that was in 46, and in 52 they did a George Washington, Carver, and Booker T. Washington together.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking the other day, because whenever you travel, for some reason you always bring back some money from the other country, because I may go back or whatever. At some point, I got a whole drawer full of money from other countries. That
what do you do with it? Is the thing.
Right. Yeah. One day I may use it. Who knows? It's one of those one day things. One day it's happen.
There's another interesting point that I about that collection is the fellow who sculptured it was Isaac Hathaway, and Isaac Hathaway was a professor at Alabama State Teachers College for Negroes, but he was also the first Black professor at Auburn.
Really?
He taught art.
What's his name again?
Isaac Hathaway.
Okay.
When it was Polytechnical, it wasn't Auburn. It was
API.
Yeah.
API.
Yeah,
okay.
he taught art there. That was very odd.
It is.
Yeah. And he was the first African American sculptor that did a coin. So that's historic. The interesting thing about it is there's more work of Isaac Hathaway in Arkansas than in Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, they have a whole library dedicated to him. In fact, we should. We'll get to do that. But I got an interesting plaque that I could share with you that was given to me. Can I share it with you?
Yeah, sure. Okay, that'd be great.
While he's talking about that, Barbara knows that I used to, I picked up a couple of pieces of art many years ago from a mutual friend of ours who had a shop where she was selling prints. And I got a Joy Smith, and I paid, less than $300 for it. And now I had it appraised, and it's really has grown in value. Yeah, but let's look at that.
This was a plaque. This is one of the coins right here. It was given to me and was plaqued when it was given to me. It was given to me by the curator at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and it has the stamped envelope, the stamp, a picture of Booker T. Washington. This is a very prized possession. I don't know.
Wow, that's great.
It's great, man.
Tom, I think that's great. Tell me again when those were minted. I think that's interesting.
46 and 52. 46 and 52. Booker T. Washington 46 and the Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver in 52. Interesting that there were a lot of those in circulation and they were melted down. So there are not a lot of them out there.
Wow.
So I have probably a good collection of those. And about the art, we have an extensive collection of thorn dowels.
Oh,
In fact, we have about 20 of them.
wow.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
And those, I don't know if you're familiar with thorn dowel, but thorn dowel was from Sumter County. And he was an artist. He worked at Pullman Standard, and he would go out and make this art in his back and kind of hide it in his shed and until it was found by Bill Arnett, and said, "This is art." You know, to him, this is just a hobby, and that put him on the map. And his work is highly sought now because it's finite. He passed several years ago,
right?
So there are no more work being created. And so in 2012, I purchased a fourth of an exhibit, Thorn Dowell Works on Paper. That was 13 pieces of art. Excuse me. And that toured in, it started in, it actually, no, it didn't start. It started in Indianapolis.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, it did start in North Carolina. That's another exhibit in Indiana. It started at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill is where it started.
Okay.
And it toured to Vermont and Knoxville, New Orleans, several more places, and it ended up in Montgomery.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, I collect a few pieces of art. I find it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
And one of the surprising things is you'd be really surprised at the art that you find at auctions. People don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Very.
There's a piece of art that we purchased at an auction for about $300 that Sudan that's valued at about $20,000 now.
Wow.
Yeah. But you got to know what you're doing, and research it. Yeah.
Right.
But they don't know.
Right.
They're just slinging art.
They're trying to get it out of there.
Bidder. What's the highest?
Yeah.
Right.
The
Well,
things
you
that
have
we
a
love
lot
to
of
hear
those
about.
outsider kind of artists. We were talking about that just the other day. Jimmy Lee Sudduth
Right.
and Woody and these other guys from
Right.
all around here.
Mosty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're all great.
I was a docent at the art museum for like 8 years, and we do have a lot of great African American artists that are represented there, and so I learned a little bit about it then. And that's wonderful that you have such a nice collection. Lonnie Holly, all those.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a nice collection of Lonnie Hollies too.
I love his shadows when he works in wire.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we have 3 pieces of wire of his.
And I was very surprised about the African American art that the Museum of Birmingham Museum of Art has, because when I went in and I saw this lovely, beautiful painting by Robert Duncanson, which is one of my favorite artists. I mean, I was like, okay, I love Birmingham Museum of Art because you just don't find Robert Duncansons hanging up on the wall everywhere. So there were others as well, but I was very pleased with our museum. Very pleased. And they had a show, not a show, but they did a showing of a movie on Lonnie Holly's life not too long ago. We attended, and it was really great.
It's a fascinating story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lonnie's fascinating.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's quite fascinating. He is indeed.
Okay, good deal. Barbara, you got a question for the couples?
I asked the last question. I'd let Michael have a chance if he has something.
Sure. I wanted to ask Pam. Pam, didn't I read or hear something about you had an opportunity to fly on the shuttle, the space shuttle or something at one time? Can you tell us about that?
I will, because I thought about that in case Thom asked me about that. But that is a really, and I might start crying, but that is a really important part of our marriage, because in the brief time that Robert and I dated, that's when President Reagan offered the opportunity for the first civilian in space and determined that it would be a teacher. And Robert and I, this was like in October, and Robert said, I really want you to apply for this. And he would take me to his office. It was back in the days of, the typewriter, which I wasn't really very good at. And I would sit in his office and work on my application. And that has been a really pivotal time in my life that I applied for that. The week in March, I turned 30 that year. Robert asked me to marry him. And that same week, I was in the final 10 in Alabama for the teacher in space. So when people fear turning 30, I'm like, oh no, that's the beginning of your life.
Right.
And then we got married and went on our honeymoon. And the minute I came back from our honeymoon, I went to Washington and went through the final process. And I didn't get the place, which, at the time I wanted to have gotten it, but it turns out that I like to say that it's like the Rolling Stones song, you can't always get what you want, but if you try, you get what you need. Because I'm so grateful that I tried, and I'm so grateful that I got what I needed rather than what I wanted. But I also, it really did set the pace for Robert. I mean, I know I drive him crazy, but he really is an encourager to me for for some of the best things that have happened to me in my life.
It was funny when we were dating and when this program was announced, I just knew Pam was going to win it. There just wasn't any doubt in my mind. Just because she had everything that they were looking for, she was smart, she was young, she was energetic, and would be a great spokesperson for the state of Alabama, because that's what they wanted. Is they wanted 2 teachers from each state, and they wanted somebody to represent the state well. And I knew she could do that. So I wasn't surprised at all when they called her name.
That's wonderful.
I'm not surprised that you went to her and said, hey, I want you to go up in space.
I thought it might give me a little time at home.
Please run alone, huh?
Are we allowed to shoot birds on this show?
Hey, so Joyce has a question. She says, what's the most loving thing your spouse has ever done for you? Besides try to get you to go up in space. Either one, either couple.
Well, there are many, but I think the most recent one was, you see, I have very long, narrow feet, very narrow. So shoes are very difficult for me to find, almost impossible. So whenever we find a store that has my size, I buy them all. I mean, I go through everything that's available in my size and I just buy them all. I get all of them. It could be 7, 8, 10, 15, whatever they have, I buy. No more than usually 7 are available, but I buy them all. So that happened recently because I was down to almost no enclosed shoes at all. So when you wear shoes, they kind of stretch. Mm-hmm. Well, Thom bought me cedar trees for my shoes. And let me tell you, it's like putting on a new pair of shoes every time I put those on, because I can feel the sides of the shoes on my feet. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not, nobody else is thrilled by this, but I am. And that was wonderful.
That's a big deal.
My feet. That's big.
Well,
that's a loving thing.
That shoes, I love shoes, and I have a few pair of them, and I have a shoe tree for every pair, and they're mostly wood shoe trees, cedar shoe trees, but I have a few of the plastic shoe trees. But every shoe that I have has a shoe tree in it.
Well, how do you find cedar shoes for these little feet? I mean, I've got a 6'8" heel, so you can start from there and imagine how narrow these feet are. So I'm just thrilled. I'm still excited about it.
Well, Thom, I can relate to that. Every pair of shoes that I have the cedar shoe tree in my shoes. As a matter of fact, when I buy a brand new pair of shoes, the first thing I do is take them to the shoe shop, and I have taps put on the heel and on the toe, and I get my cedar shoe trees to put in there. And
I like to wear my shoes for a little while, let that edge wear off a little bit, and then put a tap on it.
Okay. All right.
You're asking about my hobby.
Yeah.
I have another interesting hobby that you might be interested in.
Okay.
Okay. Music collection.
Yes.
I have. When I was in college, we're going back 50 years. I had a reel-to-reel, a Tandberg reel-to-reel, which I still have. That reel-to-reel. I still have the JVC turntable that I have. Wow. And what I would do is, as a hobby, had typewriters then. I would tape albums. I would borrow albums. Some of them I would borrow, some of them I had. But if I really liked it, I would tape it. And I would type out each album and each song on each album and the locator numbers. And I have it today. I have it with my music collection. And I have about 60 some tapes that I have that I can go to, that I can show you the catalog. Say, I want to listen to this. I can go and pull that tape, spin it around to where that song is, and play it for you.
That's great.
Wow.
That is great.
That's cool.
DJ.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And
man, I've probably got.
There's no music like tape music. Okay, the electronic sound is good, but the old sound is to me better. And I have a nice collection of albums that some are collectibles.
I mean, I agree with you. I got about 300-400 albums, and I still got my big speakers. I got my turntable, and I listen to it pretty much every day in the office. And I listen to it on the computer, but I like playing my albums.
Yeah.
While you guys were on shoes,
yeah,
what we wear down here are flip-flops.
Oh,
You don't need shoe trees for those, do you, Thom?
I got a regular pair of flip-flops and a dress-up pair of flip-flops.
Thom, are those flip-flops orange?
Yes, they are.
Probably. With blue soul.
Yes, they are.
Yes. I thought so. He's still in the Auburn spirit. I love it.
Yes, always.
Yeah. And when you get a good pair of flip-flops, you know, man, they ended up breaking right in here. I went and got some of that Gorilla Glue, put them back together. You know,
that's getting good broken in, right?
That's right. Michael buys snaps and you buy Gorilla Glue.
Yeah.
So you guys got anything else you want to tell the other stories you want to tell us?
No, I was just trying to think that we one of the things that we've done recently that was really nice, and it was for our whole family, but Pam really worked real hard on that, was our son got married in October, and it was down in Mexico. It was sort of a destination wedding down in Oaxaca, which I'd never even heard of until, you know, the kids decided that was where they were going to go. But really, one of the most loving things I think Pam has done is she really put together a fabulous long weekend for all of our friends and family, and they all came down. We had all these events lined up. Pam had gone down and gotten all that squared away. We had, you know, vans to take people to the ruins and to museums and all these different things. It was just great. It was really a nice thing, but Pam really was kind of the brains and the effort behind that. And it worked out beautifully. So it was great for the whole family.
Well, thank you for that.
That's very nice.
He's just trying to get back in.
I want to also mention about museums. Probably two of our favorite museums. We went to the National Museum for African American history and culture in Washington D.C.
Yeah, that's great.
It took us 3 days to get through it, but man, wasn't that fabulous?
Yes, it's a very, very nice museum.
It was. We loved it. We're going back just to show you how much we enjoyed it. We're going back, and we have come to. Well, of course, I've always loved the Jewel Collins Smith Museum of Fine Art, but Thom has been introduced to it, and we really, really love the artwork there, and with the staff engaging with them. It's a fabulous museum for the
Where is that?
In Auburn.
In Auburn.
It's on the Auburn University campus.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, and it is a beautiful building in an excellent and gorgeous setting. You would think you were someplace else other than Auburn, wouldn't you?
Yes.
There's a
Well,
lake out
good
in
to
front
be
of
in
the
Auburn. I'm an Auburn fan.
Yeah,
So
I
they
know.
are,
Absolutely.
they
But
have
I
an
want you to be a
African-American.
Joel Collins Smith Museum fan. And there's a Chihuly that hangs from the ceiling in there. It's just gorgeous.
Beautiful.
You would love it, Pam.
I will.
I think
I will.
they have an African-American exhibit now, don't they? That
Yes,
they put
Yes,
up?
it's still there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, the African American Museum of Music in
Yes.
Nashville.
Yes.
That is something else too.
Yes. Oh my word. It is awesome.
Yeah.
If you haven't been, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta
That
go.
would be good. I would enjoy that. I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame there. Pam and I went, and I thought it was great. I'm not a country music fan, but it's just interesting seeing.
But
all
the
that.
history of and Sunday night we went to hear old time banjo music, and
Mm.
he was talking about history and the evolution of banjo music and how it fit in with ragtime, and he played Scott Joplin's first song with the banjo. It was very good.
Yeah.
The
And you
history
would-
of music.
And you would love this museum Thom is talking about because it's interactive.
Okay, we'll go.
You
We will go.
you get to sing, Pam, with the choir, and you get to be on video,
They
and they
it to
send
you.
it to your phone, and you can show your friends that you're singing with the gospel choir, and it's fabulous. I mean, and you can do it with hip hop, you can do it with all kinds of things.
Oh, it's
That would be
very
really
nice.
That
fun.
sounds very fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
I can't wait
Okay.
to get back to DC. I'm on the committee with the director of that museum, of the African American Museum of History and Culture. That's John Hope Franklin's son. Is the director now.
Wow.
Okay.
He's an
Wonderful.
amazing
And
writer.
we serve on
and researcher.
the grand history and archives committee for
Okay.
Blu-ray.
That's great.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Always learning, still learning.
Always.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah.
Don't
Always.
learn you. Well, let's say that.
And Thom, before we forget, congratulations on your new film that's out. We haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet, but we're looking forward to seeing it.
Oh,
Yes,
it's
congratulations.
interesting. Thank
We
you.
watched the
Thank you.
Tuesdays with Thom. Where you guys
Oh,
talking
with
about?
That was
David.
David Schiffer. Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
we shot that up in north. Well, it was the northeast corner of Georgia and the southwest corner of what's that?
Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah. We were up
No
in the
wonder
woods,
you were
man.
worried about dueling banjos.
Yeah, I was. You know,
Absolutely.
as a matter of fact, David, the guy we were talking, I said, "Damn, David, man," because for me to get to my hotel, I mean, I had to drive these mountain roads, and I was
Right.
going like 30 miles an hour. People were blowing at me and stuff, you know, because you had the road, you had another lane, and then you had this drop off, man.
Right.
And
And you're not dumb.
I said to him, I said, "Man, how'd you find this place?" He said, "Well, so and so found it for me." I said, "Well, you know, I saw Deliverance. Did you bring any kind of weapon?" He pulled out his pistol. He said, "Yeah, man, I brought mine." And so I reached in my bag and I said, "I brought mine too."
True Alabamians. True Alabamians.
Right.
Yes.
Oh man! But it was a fun shoot, and the guy who played the lunatic crazy guy, he was awesome, man. He was great. I mean, he was great as being crazy. He was.
Good.
He had, and I won't tell you guys the story. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Thom, David did it, and he's going to do a sequel.
Good.
And I'm the sheriff, and so we're talking through the news story, and he's going to bring the sheriff out of retirement.
Oh,
And,
good.
He gets to do it again. So
Very
it was
good.
fun. It was fun. Anything else from you guys? I got some love quotes here, but my favorite listening to you guys is true love stories never have endings.
True.
And I think that's true. I think you guys exemplify that. So anybody else got anything? Any questions, comments? This has been great. Thank you for doing it. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for including us. We enjoyed being with everybody.
It was fun.
It was.
Let's all go out to dinner together now.
Okay.
Do it.
Let's do that.
Well, we're all Michael's in Atlanta, Barbara's in Birmingham, you guys in Birmingham, I'm in Florida. So we'll have to arrange that.
Well, it'll happen.
Well, the five of us will have it, and we'll put you all on Zoom. And you can watch us eat.
It'll be fun.
I think it'll be
Just
fun
like
too.
the pandemic.
That's right.
A life lived in love will never be dull.
Right.
True.
We can only learn to love by loving.
That's true.
Life is the flower for which love is the honey.
That's a new one.
Yeah, these are real good.
Well, Pam, Robert, we will be reaching out to you to break some bread with you soon.
We would really like that very much.
That'd be great. Let's count on it.
Barbara.
Oh yeah, Barbara's always invited. I mean,
Thank you. I enjoy being the third or the fifth wheel. So thank you all so much for including me always.
Well, there's always Angel.
That's right. Angel is my partner always.
Always.
Okay. Anything else from anybody?
No.
Thank you guys so much. It was so much fun. We appreciate it very, very much. So, okay, well, we're going to move on to our closing then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. My closing commentary for as I see it, after 12 days of debate, February 10th, 1964, after 12 days of debate and voting on 125 amendments, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 by a vote of 290 to 130. Black History Month fact. But we should also remember that it's also United States history. And that's how I see it on this February 14th of Valentine's Day in the new year of 2023. That's our show for today. I want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the comments that you guys gave us. Thank our G-list guests, Pam and Robert Baugh, Barbara and Thom Larkin. Thank our sponsor, Best Girl. Thank Michael, Barbara, Emily, and Joyce. And that's it on this February 14th in the new year of 2023. Remember, enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Peace.